Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my Walking Dead episode 9 video. Really solid Tyrese episode. It was basically like a recap of everything that's happened, and it was telling us where they're going next. That was what was up with the weird title. What happened and what's going on. That's almost a little too on the nose for me, but maybe you guys liked it. Because we went to Wiltshire Estates, and that's a big place from the comics, I'm going to explain what that is. I'm going to explain that storyline in the comics, just because it happened a long time ago, like season 1 timeline. They skipped over it on the TV show. Okay, so just careful for spoilers from the episode if you haven't seen it yet, starting with Wiltshire Estates. In the episode, it's Noah's home. He probably told them about it, that it was a good place to live, that they might be able to stay there. And he's supposed to still have family there. He doesn't know that they're dead until they get there. In the comics, they actually stay there for a while. They just happen upon it while it's wintertime. It's really cold, they need food, so they use it as shelter. As you'd imagine, things go bad just like they do in this episode. The relative composition of the group was a little bit different. Tyrese and Carol are there together. Andrea, Dale, Alan, Donna. So because I feel like they were trying to honor the comic book storyline, I feel like that's why Rick talked to Carol on the radio. And instead of Tyrese leading it, it was actually Donna that died. So it's just like one of the many locations where the group stays for an extended period of time. This episode was more of a layover though, like a jumping off point before they go to Washington, D.C., which is also another big comic book place. Couple other big Easter eggs in the episode, like Tyrese losing his hand, as well as the baseball bat. I don't know necessarily that those were intentional Easter eggs. They could be foreshadowing for the future. There's this picture of Norman Reedus, holding a cut off hand. Obviously, that's not Tyrese's, so somebody else this season might lose a hand. Right now, Abraham's at the top of that list, because he still has that giant wound on his hand that keeps getting worse. Okay, so here we go. Top 5 moments. Number 5, Tyrese explains his childhood. It's always fun to listen to the characters talk about themselves. Tyrese had that awesome speech about his dad. I feel like his dad would have been a person who would have survived in the apocalypse. He sounded like he knew what was up. It's all about paying the high cost of living, keeping your eyes open, understanding what's going on, where things are headed. Face your fears, which obviously Tyrese proceeds to do through the course of the episode. It provides a nice metaphor for where the group is at right now. Like they all collectively have to face their fears and push forward. It also kind of implies that they're going to have to start paying attention to what's going on in the rest of the world, not just that little corner of Georgia where they've been. When you think about it, the narrative so far has been very self-contained to just that one state. That's why I think people are excited about the spinoff, because it's going to be in Los Angeles. It'll be like a completely different place, so you get a completely different perspective. Quick side note, that Suburban they were driving in, the Chevy Suburban, I had several friends with dads that all had Suburbans just like that. It's just a funny thought because they were on their road trip radioing back and forth. They clearly have a caravan going on. That's why they were radioing each other. Moving on to number 4, welcome to Wiltshire Estates. Everyone is dead. Noah kind of goes through the stages of grief just like all the other members of the group have before. At some point, they've all visited the places where they came from and found everyone dead. So they all had that moment. That's why Tyrese was just kind of awkwardly shaking his head like, yep. One thing I thought was interesting is when they were deciding that they probably should not stay there, when they started to argue about it and they went outside and saw those hacked up bodies, it looked like someone had tried to break in with gunfire. Like it looked like there were scorch marks on the outsides of those walls. A lot of you guys were asking me on Twitter if I thought it might be Negan's saviors just because of the baseball bat. I don't think it was them. I think the people that live there just set those walkers on fire. They tried to burn them, and then the walkers just kept pounding on the outside of the wall. So I don't think someone was invading with a cannon like Governor style with a tank. Moving on to number 3, In Remembrance of Beth. Emily Kinney had that song in the episode. I actually think that's one of her own songs, like an actual song that she wrote in real life. That feels like something really nice from behind the scenes they let her do. Like, well, we're gonna kill you off, but you're starting your music career, so we'll give you a nice bump by putting your song on the show. Glenn and Rick also talk a lot about her. As if she were still alive, they would have gone there and stayed for her. Or at least that they would try to fulfill Beth's dream of living in a place like that, in a place that felt like home. Beth is dead, so it doesn't feel like home anymore, and everyone else is dead, so it's literally not home. In the comics, whenever they come on Wiltshire Estates, it's like a big victory for them. They're really happy, it's really exciting. In this episode, it was really depressing. It was like a really sad moment when they found it. Moving on to number 2, the sad train continues as Tyrese and Noah go back to Noah's old house. Did anyone else feel like the minute Noah got up and ran away from Tyrese, everything was going to go to shit? It's like he's violating the rules of a zombie apocalypse movie. You never run away from the group on your own, especially when everything is creepy quiet. The woman on the floor looked like his mother, and obviously it was his twin younger brothers that Tyrese ran afoul of. It was really hard to parse what was going through his brain when he was staring at those pictures, when Tyrese was staring at the pictures of his younger brothers. Was he looking at those? Was this creepy look on his face him thinking about Mika and Lizzie? Or was he thinking about his childhood? The minute he noticed that there were two of them, though, like you just knew that, yeah, the one that's bumping the door in the bathroom, that's the other one. And my number one moment, obviously, Tyrese bites the dust. Didn't you just wonder the minute he walked past those shark jaws in the background, like, oh, this is not gonna end well? Initially, I definitely didn't think he was gonna die. I know we were all kind of wondering whether or not he was gonna live or die or what was gonna happen the minute he got bit, because there's really only a couple things you can do. If the bite isn't that bad, yeah, you could have cut the arm off and he would have been fine. But that was a giant chunk, and it didn't get to him for several minutes, so I think he died because he lost so much blood, not because of the Walker virus. And when they pulled over later in the car, I do think he had started to turn, so they pulled him out and they finished him off. Didn't you just feel like, though, when they started pulling away in the car, like, oh, they might be able to salvage this might be okay, and yank him out of the car, then it's like, okay, nope, this is over, this is done. It wouldn't be a Walking Dead premiere or finale if they didn't kill somebody. Maybe Tyrese can go on Game of Thrones in a future season. I hear they also steal a lot of actors from The Wire. Just in terms of cinematography, though, I can't not talk about all the visions that Tyrese had, him talking to all the dead people. The governor was so great. I was trying to think of it in the context of like id, ego, superego, but I think it was simpler than that. I think it was his brain processing his regrets. He regrets what he did for the governor. He regrets what he did to Mika and Lizzie, even though he technically didn't do anything to them. That was all Carol. Everyone regrets Beth, so I feel like if everyone had a version of this scene, Beth would be in each one of theirs. Also, the way they transitioned between real life and his visions was really awesome. Like the way Lizzie started pulling on his arm and it turned into Andrew Lincoln. Speaking of which, I think the British voice on that radio was actually Andrew Lincoln. I think he was the one that was doing that. Just fun behind the scenes facts. So here's my big question for you guys. We know they're going to Washington now, but how did you feel about Tyrese's death? Would you have rather seen someone else die? Did you want to see Noah die? I'll be honest, I kind of did want to see Noah die. I'm totally fine with Tyler James Williams, but I don't like him as much as Chad Coleman. So regardless of where they're trying to take the show and the characters, I think they wouldn't keep the Noah character on if he was not critical to the back half of the plot. Also, I think they want to keep some young blood in the shows. Like right now, Glenn seems like the youngest, even though he's about the same age as Maggie, and they're not that young. So now Noah is like the noob survivor, so expect him to get a lot of like explainer scenes from the other characters where they teach him about how to survive in the apocalypse. If I were Noah and I was going to apprentice to anyone in the group, I'd probably stick with Daryl or Carol. They just feel like they do the best job of surviving on their own. The other members of the group, all very capable, but feel like they need other people to survive. And Carol feels like she does okay on her own, and Daryl too. Daryl's kind of a loner. Let me know if you guys thought there was anything that was just really off about the episode. And do you think that baseball bat is a Negan Easter egg? I'm thinking that's way, way far off. So I don't think it was meant to say, yeah, we're going to see this person in the next 4 or 5 episodes. Maybe season 6, we'll see, maybe season 6. So there's a new round of the giveaway starting now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. I'll announce the winner in my Q&A tomorrow. And there's like some weird subscription problem going on with YouTube. So just check like my Facebook or Twitter page or my videos page if you're not seeing the new videos show up. While you guys wait for the Q&A, you can click here. I ranked all the episodes from the first half of the season, and you can click here for the Game of Thrones behind the scenes special. Thank you so much for watching, so let's all high five. I'll see you guys tomorrow.